this is Kat with Beadaholique, and in this video I'm going to show you a few different ways that you can make your own adjustable slider necklace and bracelets. So to begin, I just want to kind of go over what I have on my table here. I have some beautiful sterling silver chain, and actually all of my findings today are sterling silver, so you're going to get that really great, beautiful, shining silver quality. So I have a couple of little charms here that I'm going to be working with and some different chains. Well, actually this is all the same chain. I'm going to be using it in different ways, but I have over here some of my findings, and I have some 4mm 22 gauge jump rings. I have an Italian quality chain tag, and this is a nice little link that I'm going to be using. And I know you might not be able to see it on the video here, but it does have that nice little 0.925 stamping on it to ensure the quality that this is sterling silver. And then I have my adjustable slider clasp here. Now it has a nice little open ring at the bottom and that lovely little silicone in the middle. So hopefully you can really kind of see that, and you'll get to see how it works here in just a moment. I have a spring ring clasp, and again it has that lovely open jump ring on the side as well. And my nice little drop charm. I'll show you how we're going to use that. So let's go ahead and dive in with sort of the traditional method to using these adjustable slider clasps. So I have about 18 inches of chain here that I'm going to be using. And when you're creating one of these necklaces, you really want to focus on the longest length of chain that you're going to want your necklace to be, and then you can adjust it shorter than that. So let's say I wanted something that was more 22 inches, but I wanted to make it 18. So I'd have to start with 22 so that I can slide it down to be 18. So just keep that in mind when you're building these necklaces. You always need the longest length that you're going to possibly want here. All right, so I have a couple pairs of chain nose pliers that are going to help me out. I also have a little scrap of 26 gauge wire, so I'll show you how we're going to use that in a little bit. But let's go ahead and get started here, and I'm going to take that silicone slider, and you can see that I've already opened it just a tad. I'm just going to kind of sneak my pliers in there to open it just a little bit more. There we go, so it's nice and easy to work with. Now the first thing I'm going to do is slip on this Italian tag, and I'm just going to reach in, and I'm just going to use my fingers on the other side there because I have a little bit of leverage, and just close up that jump ring so that it is nice and snug. All right, and now to the other side I'm going to attach my spring ring clasp, and again you can see that I already sort of have it open. So I'm just going to slide that tag in there. So now I have it on both sides. And I'm just going to close up that jump ring by just gently twisting. And I'm going to give it a little squeeze just to make sure it is nice and cut. All right, so there we go. We have our lovely little chain started. So what I'm going to do for one side here is I'm going to take one of my 4mm 22 gauge jump rings, and giving it a little twist. I'm just going to open it like so, and I'm going to slip it onto the last link in one of my chain, and I'm going to go ahead and close this up because this is going to be the other side where my spring ring is going to attach. So now I have a nice little attachment for that. All right, to get the chain through here on the other side, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my little scrap of wire, and I'm going to sort of just bend it in half and take one of my pieces of wire, string it through the last link of my chain there, and get it down to the center. So this is going to create a little bit of a needle effect to try to get it through this little silicone slider. So I'm going to put both ends of that wire through there, and I'm going to grab it with my pliers here and just kind of slide it over my chain. So now you see that it's nice and sort of stuck on that chain, which is exactly where we want it to be. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and remove my little piece of wire. This is not part of the finished design. And I'm going to take another jump ring here and slip it onto my little dangle here in the back. This is a nice little sterling silver teardrop. And slip it onto that last link just to sort of finish that off there. And I'm going to close that up. All right, so now all we have left to do is just open our spring ring and attach it there. And now we have our lovely little necklace here that you can just pull. And I like to add the clasp just because it adds a little bit of extra stability. Also at 18 inches, sometimes you might not be able to get that all the way around your head, But you can have this nice adjustable clasp and this nice little slider so that it looks great for layering necklaces. Now, of course, to finish the look, I want to add a little tiny charm. We have this lovely little sterling silver compass. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go ahead and utilize this large jump ring that comes with it. And I'm just going to open it up and slide it onto my chain here and close up my jump ring. Now you can replace it with a smaller jump ring if you'd like, but I sort of like the one that comes with this one in particular. All right, so that is one way to get that lovely little ending adjustable slider clasp. All right, now I'm going to show you how you can do this in sort of a bracelet form. So what I'm going to start by doing here is I want to make a little link at the top of my bracelet there, and I'm going to wrap that chain around the sides. So before you do anything else, you're going to want to measure a little bit. Now I have a foot of chain here, so this should be more than enough. But what I want to do is I want to kind of go from the center of my wrist to the top center of my wrist. In fact, just a little bit off because I want it to sort of lay really nicely right there. And the beautiful thing is that this is going to be adjustable, so you can adjust it as needed. All right, I'm just going to take some flush cutters and just cut off that ring there. All right, and now I'm going to take my jump rings here and I'm going to open one up, slip it onto the last link in the chain, and slip it onto one of those loops of that beautiful little circle. Now I love how delicate this is, and you can just see, even as I sort of place it on my wrist, just how lovely that's going to look. All right, so we have our chain and it's going all the way around to the center. So now what this piece is going to need is I'm going to attach one of those same silicone charms. And this is sort of that slider piece that is going to be needed on this side. All right, so just slip on my chain and just close up that jump ring. There we go. All right, so now I'm ready to go to the other side to start measuring my chain. So what I'm going to do is, this is probably longer than I want, but I'm going to go ahead and leave it intact. That way you can always use your scraps later. All right, and I'm going to just attach it the same way as I did on the other side, with opening a jump ring, attaching it to that loop, and closing that jump ring. All right, so now we're going to take our little scrap of wire again, and we are going to thread this side through our silicone slider. And again, just take those pliers to help you out. I'm just going to slide it down. All right, so now that it's on there, what I'm going to do is kind of slip it over my wrist here and just sort of slide it up to where I think, let's see here. There we go. To where I think it will fit over my wrist so that I know how big I need to make it. There we go. That's actually about right. So that will slip over my wrist nicely. Oh, maybe a little bit bigger. All right. There we go. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here with my flush cutters, and I'm going to cut off just a little south of where I was. All right, there we go. And this is a really delicate little lotus charm, and the ring on this is just a little bit too big for my taste. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open it up and just simply remove that ring. And I'm going to use one of these smaller rings that I have here. Now you don't have to add a charm to the bottom. You could add a crystal, you could add a little tiny drop, but you will need to add just a little bit of something just to make sure this doesn't pull through that silicone. All right, there we go. So now I have this lovely adjustable sliding bracelet with this cute little lotus charm that will hang on the back. So that is another way that you can use this, is just take some jump rings, a connector, and You actually don't even need a connector in the center, or you could hang a charm. A lot of opportunity to really play around and personalize this. And this makes really wonderful gifts so that you can use if you're unsure of someone's size or just kind of how big their hand might be. So a great little tip to use for this and for the necklaces as well. All right, so my very last one that I want to show you here today is going to be very quick because we kind of already have gone over this, and you can see him on my table over here. I'm just going to pull it closer. So this is going to give you more of that sort of lariat style, or almost like a Bolero tie kind of style. So this actually has 2 holes in the silicone here, and I'm going to go ahead and pull one out. There we go. So you can just see how it's going to work on the center in there. And it has its nice little 925 stamping on the back to ensure this is sterling silver, so that's always a nice little sort of quality mark. But you're going to do the same thing as you've done with the other ones here by creating that little needle with that wire, slipping it through, and pulling it out the other side. There you go. And the good thing about this is that the silicone is actually nice and stiff, so it will feel stiff the first few times that you use it, but that's actually kind of good because you don't want it to actually wear. So what's lovely is you can make either one shorter and one longer. And again, you can add crystals, you can add charms, you can add just big old pendants, whatever you like, sort of a dealer's choice kind of a necklace. And again, just the slider clasps are absolutely wonderful to use, especially if you're going to be doing any gift giving for the holiday season, or it's great for a wedding party or just a lot of other things. I hope you enjoyed this video and these design inspirations. You can find even more videos and all of these supplies at beadaholique.com, and be sure to hit the subscribe button below to get all the updates from Beadaholique.